Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the JD and Ferg Show. I am your host, JD, and this is your co-host, Ferg. Today's episode, we're going to go into some detail about some of the off-season controversies that have plagued some of the franchises throughout the NFL. And we are also going to go into some of the future controversies to happen, which involves holdouts. Now, the first that I want to talk about is the bounty scandal. We all know that about a week ago, an audio recording came out of Greg Williams targeting specific players in a playoff game against the 49ers.
Right.
But now, this week, word has come out that the NFLPA knew about it prior. So, Aaron, with that being said, what do you think the NFL's thoughts are that the PA knew about this and did not share that information with them?
Yeah, I'm kind of torn because I've heard rumors both ways. And with some of the penalties that have already came down for the coaching staffs, you know, I'm almost willing to believe that the commissioner did know about the recordings. But now, on the other hand, if he didn't, could you imagine what the penalties and stuff like that would have been? Would have been huge. But with that actually has come out now, you know, we know for a fact he's going to have that for the players. So, you know, the penalties for the players, the fines for the players are going to be pretty massive. I think that's why they're taking a little bit of extra time to get that across, to get him a good checkout. I think it's going to be pretty steep. But like I said, man, I've heard it both ways. And, you know, if the commissioner didn't hear about the audio tapes before he made the stuff, you know, the penalties for the coaching staff, there's got to be some sort of penalties, some sort of fines coming down for the PA system. And they're going to be huge.
I think personally that the Players Association was trying to keep that kind of under the rug a little bit, just so that way when the penalties did come down on the players, that it would not be as severe as the organization for the Saints had already gotten.
Right, and I can understand that. But, you know, either way, if he did know, great. If he didn't know, whoa, watch out. There's going to be some extra fines and stuff coming down.
All right, and now, depending on how the rest of the season goes for these other teams, people are going to keep questioning if Peyton Manning made the right choice going for the Broncos instead of the Titans or the 49ers, which were the other two teams that were in the running till the very end.
You know, my beliefs on this one, I don't know how Peyton didn't pick the 49ers. You know, they were completely set up. They were Super Bowl ready except for a quarterback. Yeah. The only thing I can think of is maybe Hardball, the coaching staff for the 49ers, didn't want or wasn't going to let Peyton run his system. But it's Peyton Manning. How can you not let Peyton Manning run his system? The Saints, not the Saints, the Titans. I don't know exactly what happened with the Titans. I thought that was a good match as well.
He would have been able to play his former team twice a year, kind of rub it in their face a little bit. You got Chris Johnson back there, a young receiving core with a lot of potential. Huge potential.
I mean, who wouldn't want Chris Johnson as your running back, you know? They got Kenny Britt that was just going off that chain this last year, man. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you get everybody healthy on that team, you got a monster of a team with Peyton as your quarterback. You know, same thing with 49ers. I mean, look at the wide receivers they got. They got big-time wide receivers, big hands, big players, tall players, you know? We know Peyton Manning loves a tight end. Okay, what do the 49ers got? Vernon Davis, as we like to call him, BD. Man, dude, are you kidding me? They got a running back core that's just monstrous, and even it's been upgraded now with Jacobs. You know.
And then if you want to get into the defensive side of how can the defense help out Peyton? Okay, well, we all know the 49ers had a monster defense last year.
Monster.
The Titans could use some help in areas, but they're not one of the worst defenses around. But you got the Broncos, who had games where they would do good and games where they wouldn't, as they've allowed 45 points or more scored in 5 different games last year. Their points per game, they ranked 24th on the defensive end, and they were 20th against total yardage. So they're a defense that needs work. Now, you want to get into run games? Okay, well, 49ers have depth. The Tennessee Titans have Chris Johnson, and the Broncos have Tim Tebow.
Which is no longer there.
Basically. And if you think about it, if you take out the running yards that Tim Tebow had last year, they didn't have a consistent run game because of health issues.
Roger that. I mean, they got no Sean Moreno back there, which we like to personally call No Show Moreno. Hence the name, hence the injuries, hence the no show. I'm just saying, it was crazy. I don't know why. I think it's just the Elway and Peyton, they kind of saw, eye to eye. And that's the only thing I can think about. I don't know what else it could have been. Because, every team's going to allow Peyton to run his offense because you just have to. Because, look at it. When he runs his offense,
it runs.
It runs. I don't know, man. I just didn't see... I don't see enough weapons on the Broncos for Peyton to go to the Broncos instead of either other team.
They did add Andre Caldwell, so that should kind of help. Decker, Thomas Caldwell, they'll have a nice young mix, but it's a matter of can those young players elevate to the next level. Moving on to the next section, we are going to talk about Hugh Jackson being fired. Do you believe that was a premature move for the Raiders to make?
Man, you want to talk about premature? This was like 9 months early, premature.
I personally felt that he deserved one more season because of a lot of the off-season problems with the holdouts and trying to get a new collective bargaining agreement going, and then with the passing of Al Davis, it's something that they should have kept into consideration and looked at the facts. Okay, we still win at least 8-8. Let's give him one more year to see if he can finally pull it all together with less drama and more time to work with the team.
Yeah. Actually
having an off season.
Yeah, I completely agree. No TAs, barely, everybody's practicing in the preseason last year. 4 games into the season or something like that, they ended up getting Carson Palmer. There was a lot of, stuff going on in that organization. And he still went 8-8. He was literally inches away from the playoffs. I don't get why this wouldn't be premature. I don't know how you don't give this guy another chance. When's the last time, before Hugh Jackson took over, when's the last time the Raiders got into the playoffs? It's
been a little while.
A decade or two? I don't remember. It's been a long time. Major premature. But Hugh Jackson, good luck to you. Nothing but utmost respect, dude.
Now, the next section, we apologize in advance because this is going to be something that's going to be brought up probably more than Peyton Manning throughout the season, and that is Sanchez or Tebow.
Yeah, crazy enough. The whole Peyton Manning talk is going to be a lot of, but this one is going to be week in, week out, during each game, and it don't even have to be a Jets game. They're going to talk about it in other games because it's going to be so talked about over the course of the year that it's going to be crazy. In my mind, if Sanchez was your starter, fourth quarter comes down to it, you're behind by a touchdown or 3 points or tied, I'm putting in Tebow. If it's overtime, I don't care what the score is, I'm putting in Tebow.
And that's exactly my question. My question would be, do you put in the quarterback that could win you the game in the winding minutes of the fourth quarter, or do you keep in the quarterback who can't win you any games in any quarter?
Right. But you also got to think, we need a quarterback that can pass, too, not just run.
It is a pass-first league. Now, with that being said, that is going to be something that's going to go on all year long. Which quarterback do we go with? I say screw it, put them both in. Put Tebow at fullback, see what happens.
Running back, wide receiver, doesn't make any difference. The man can do it all.
Just throw them in there, see what happens. The next segment that we're going to go into now is going to be the holdouts. Now, there are a lot of players this year wanting new contracts. And I don't think that I've seen a holdout for this many players individually since the collective bargaining agreement, or even as far back as the last time that there was a strike in the NFL.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It's a pretty long list. We're going to go over a few of them, but it's a long list of big names. Productive names. There's a few on there that we're going to question.
Go ahead and kick us off with the defense.
I'll start us off with the defense. You got Calais Campbell. Decent guy. He had 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 72 combined tackles last year.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I think that's worth the contract.
Yeah, especially when this guy's like the only linebacker you got that's worth it.
And you got a team here now with the Cards defense that were 17th against points, 17th against the pass, and 21st against the rush. So if you lose really one of your only productive linemen, you're going to see that number falter.
Yeah, definitely. Especially this guy. This guy was your top producer. Campbell was definitely the top producer on that team. You guys need to pay him. It's as simple as that. He deserves it. He's earned it. Next moving on the list is Brett Grimes. Here's where we get to the questioning part. 49 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and 1 interception as a cornerback. 1 interception as a cornerback, 1 forced fumble.
And interesting enough, Atlanta is 20th against the pass. So all of the building that they were supposed to be doing didn't work.
I don't know what else to say. Don't pay the man.
Hold out.
Yeah, hold out.
Go ahead.
You know, I'm sure they can find somebody cheaper and better. Okay, next. Anthony Spencer is next on our list. Anthony Spencer, 66 tackles, 4 forced fumbles, and 6 sacks. That's production. Production, turnovers, pay that man.
I think one of the main reasons that you need to re-sign that person is so that way you take away some of the double coverages with D. Ware when you decide to send in Anthony Spencer from his position.
Yeah, completely agree. This guy's a monster. I mean, he's rushes the quarterback. He can take a tight end. He can play the middle of the field. The guy does it, dude. This is one of those guys you have to sign. There's no question. I mean, this guy's getting great production. Next on the list is Cliff Averill. He's 36 tackles, 11 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 1 interception, and 1 defensive touchdown. How do you not pay that man?
That's definitely a contract that you got to get worked out, because the way I see it with your defense, okay, you got Kyle Vanden Bosch. He's getting older, still productive, but getting older.
Yep.
We don't know how much he's going to have left in the tank, okay? You got Ndamukong Suh, who is very temperamental and sounds similar to a raging bull in heat, if you really think about it. The guy has a temper problem, whether he admits it or not. He's got a lot of pressure put on him. I'm sure that adds to it. And then you got Fairley, who has a lot of potential, but
he's fairly healthy, fairly not.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you just got to kind of hope he stays healthy so you can get the production out of him and to develop him, because he is still young, into the player that he can be. Yeah. So with Cliff Averill wanting a contract, I think that's something that you have to keep into consideration, especially with the 11 sacks.
Yeah, he's getting in there, man.
That's pressure, and that's something that you want to keep, and that's why they had such a stout defense towards the beginning and the end of the season.
Right. Yeah, I agree. They were doing their damn thing until a couple people got injured, but this is one guy that I don't see how you could not pay. I understand you guys got to be careful of the cap type thing, but this is one of those guys you're going to have to figure out how to work out a deal. This is one of those you just have to. Next on the list is Cameron Wake for Miami. He's got 42 tackles, 8.5 sacks. It's not bad. You know, 8.5 sacks is great. 42 tackles. As a linebacker, you're going to have to get more tackles.
Yeah.
You know, I understand you're getting in there and getting on the quarterback. That's why you have 8.5 sacks. But on that defense,
you got to keep the only real big name player you have right now on your defense, because who else do you have? Vontae Davis at cornerback? Okay.
I mean, you know, Chris Long ain't bad. I like.
You need to give that guy a contract. Pay him. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, work something out, but also get there.
They are talking. They are talking, though.
Yeah,
I think that is a situation that's going to work itself out.
Yeah, just throw some incentives on there and work it. You know what I mean? Next on the list is O.C.
Umenyiora.
Yeah, can't say his last name. 25 tackles, 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Tackles a little low, but the reason you pay this guy is because the dual-headed beast on the ends. You know what I mean? It's like the Colts with Mathis and Freeman. You know, without both, one isn't going to produce. But with both, they're going to mass produce. And this guy falls into that category.
And I think in their situation, you have to keep mind of the what's the word I'm looking for? You guys are getting older, okay?
Yeah.
And not only that, but you're losing depth on your roster. They lost Tolson this offseason to the Raiders.
Yeah.
He left in free agency.
Yep.
You got some young guys that could come up and fill in these positions really well, but you have to keep that in mind that you guys, their starters on your team are getting older, and that's something that you have to address.
Yeah, and keeping the depth is probably the most important part. And like I said, the dual-headed beast, you got to have it. Because even if those guys ain't getting in, there's linebackers that are getting in, corners that are getting in. It's just one of those things that you're going to have to bite a little bit of bullet, give them a little bit more money, find that happy medium. It's one of those things.
Make it work.
Yep. Last on our list for the defensive side is Gholston for the 49ers. 67 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 6 interceptions. We're not going to hold to the playoffs against you. We're not even going to talk about that. But this is one of those guys that is producing 67 tackles from a corner. Oh, strong safety. Strong safety.
It was a good breakout year for him. And he wants to be there. They want him there, so I'm not worried about that. I think that that's a situation that will work itself out. But
yeah,
he is going through the motions by skipping the off-season OTA so far. But that's something I'm not worried about. I think that they will work it out. They realize, okay, him and Rodgers, that's 12 interceptions that defense got last year between the both of them. That's production you can't afford to lose in that secondary.
I completely agree. And it's not just the turnovers. And this goes for a lot of cornerbacks. You guys should hear this. This is important stuff. Now, it's not so much the tackles and it's not so much the interceptions, but the one thing that Gholston was doing was making players, wide receivers, tight ends, hear footsteps. He was putting on the big hits. And that will make drop balls like crazy. You're going to have guys cringing. They're going to grab the ball. Even if they do catch it, they're going to go straight to the ground because they don't want to feel that pain. And that's one thing I truly liked about that guy. He put on some nice hits. And there was a lot of times, ask the Saints, there's a lot of times they were cringing and didn't want to catch no dang ball because they heard the gold steps.
Moving on to the offensive side of the holdouts going on this year. We're just going to kick it off with some of the big names already. Ray Rice, 291 carries, 1,364 yards for a 4.7 average, and got 12 rushing touchdowns last year. How do you have an issue signing this person?
Man. And let me just throw this out for you too. 52 catches on that. He had 52 catches on that team, which put them at the #1 wide receiver. He had over 700 yards receiving on that team too. This man is literally dang near almost, 70% of your offense? Is it crazy? How do you not pay this guy?
Next on the list is a unique situation because it is a team that wants to sign this player. They just can't afford to right now because of cap space and because of the demand that this player wants. And that is Mike Wallace. Now, he had 72 catches, 1,193 yards, 16.6 yards per catch with 8 touchdowns. He's averaged 1,000 yards all 4 years that he's been in the NFL. And this is, again, he's someone who wants Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson money.
Yeah.
But the Steelers just simply can't give him that right now.
Yeah, there's no cap room at all on the Steelers team. You know, they're gonna have troubles just signing all their draft picks. So they got troubles. So look for Mike Wallace to go somewhere else because it ain't gonna be Steelers. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there. You heard it here first. It's probably an obvious one. Whatever. But he's gonna get a big time contract. It's not going to be Larry Fitzgerald's and Megatron contract. You're not going to get it. 10 to 15 range, I could see it. But, somebody's going to find a home for this guy. He's a big-time wide receiver, no doubt.
Next player on the list is Maurice Jones-Drew. 343 carries, 1,606 yards, 4.7 average with 8 rushing touchdowns last season. And that is a deal that you got to get worked out because you don't have too many other running backs behind him that could take the workload that he does. I mean, 343 rushes is a good amount of rushes.
Say that again.
343 rushes is a good amount of rushes.
My God, man. Almost got 350 rushing attempts. What the Sam Hill? This is your workhorse and then the backup workhorse.
And you need to keep that
Oh
to help Gabbert develop, because if you don't have a good run game that you can use behind this young quarterback, then you're just going to stunt his growth.
Stunt his growth.
Kill it.
This man's
Shove it
gonna
down
have
at the knees.
no growth. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys don't pay him, trust me. Somebody's gonna pay him. This man is a workhorse, and he, you know, I gotta give it to you. He's staying healthy, man. For the workload he's carried, he's staying healthy.
And you can just ask Sean Merriman if he can hit.
Roger that.
The next player on this list is someone who I'm glad he's finally holding out this year. Because they wanted to try and stiff him again with another franchise tag when he has been more than worthy of getting that big contract. And that is none other than Matt Forte over at Chicago. 203 rushes, 997 rushing yards, a 4.9 average with 3 touchdowns. He also added 52 catches to make him the reception leader for that team.
Right.
490 yards there with a 9.4 average per catch and another receiving touchdown.
And mind you, this guy actually missed a couple games last year due to injuries.
And then again, they wanted to place him, and then on a franchise tag, and also signed Michael Bush, which Michael Bush is a great addition to any team because he's got a lot left in him.
Yeah, he's got a lot
young.
of potential.
You could use him. Okay?
Yes, you could definitely use that man.
But then you do that, and then you slap a franchise tag on who is your starter, by all means. That's like a slap in the face.
Yeah, and let me know that franchise tag. I've looked at the money value. Man, for what Forte should be getting paid as a running back, that thing's about half the price. And this is another guy that's has to be 10 million plus for a paycheck. You're gonna have to get this guy a paycheck. He's literally been your workhorse too. Hence the reason why he's gotten a few little injuries here and there. Don't start questioning his, his accident proneness and stuff like that because, they're just working the hell out of this guy.
All right, next on the list is someone who, again, is one of those situations where they don't know what he wants. They're working on a deal, and that is Drew Brees. Now, we all know he had a phenomenal season this last year. He had a 110.6 rating for a quarterback, 5,476 yards, beating Dan Marino's long-standing record.
By a long shot, too.
46 touchdowns to only 14 interceptions, which is a fantastic ratio, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, everybody knows. We don't have the exact stat on the, passing attempts, but we all know Brees threw a lot. He probably averaged at least 30 passes per game, and only have 14 interceptions. You're gonna have to go ahead and have to ask that rest of the team, especially those wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, say, "Hey guys, look, check this out.
Talk to him, please.
Yeah, go talk to him. We need you guys to chip in because we need to pay this guy because this is the reason we keep going to the playoffs. A couple Super Bowls here and there. This is the guy. This is why you guys look so good."
And I don't know if they could pay him enough money to make him happy with all the offseason things. I mean, that has to be messing with him.
Yeah, I'm a little questioning.
If I was a quarterback, I'd be like, do I want to be a part of a franchise that has so much going on right now?
Right. And this is this is one of my biggest questions. And something, I feel like something is deep going on there because of the fact, the rumors are they're going to make him the highest paid quarterback, try to make him the highest paid quarterback, and by a good amount. From what I'm hearing, it was about $155 million. That's over 7 years. But that's a hell of a paycheck, man. And if that's true, now those are rumors, if that's true, and he's not signing his franchise tag, which his franchise tag is going to give him roughly about $24 million per year, well, for the 1 year, obviously. But, something's going on there. Why isn't he signing these, if the rumors are true about the contract, why is he not signing that? Why is he not signing the franchise tag?
Definitely a situation to monitor to see how that plays out. Now, next on the list, we have Wes Welker. 122 catches, 1,569 receiving yards with a 12.9 average per catch and 9 touchdowns. forget the age. He's 31. Okay, so give him a 4-year contract. He'll still be gold that time period.
At 31 years old, 122 catches, I think he led the league in receptions. Another workhorse. This man was literally your workhorse. How do you not pay him?
And if you take out the production that Gronkowski and Hernandez did last year, really he's the only receiving weapon that you have.
Can anybody else name a wide receiver that caught a ball? They got Deion Branch. Did he catch any? I don't remember. Ocho Cinco.
1 touchdown, I think. I think he got 1 touchdown.
Who?
I know
Ocho?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw him catch 1.
I don't remember.
But I don't know if he caught more than that.
Yeah.
Now the last player on our offensive side of holdouts hasn't officially said that he's going to hold out, but all signs point to it as he has been avoiding offseason OTA so far, and that is Dwayne Bowe with the Kansas City Chiefs. He had 81 receptions for 1,159 yards,
nice.
a 14.3 yard per catch,
nice,
and 5 touchdowns. Now the receiving touchdowns, that's a little low.
Look at the team though.
What else did you do on the offensive side of the ball last year as far as the receiving goes?
BS aside, the only games you guys won was the games that he was going off the chain. He was your offense. Plain and simple. And it wasn't because your quarterback. Can anybody name those quarterbacks?
Castle, Orton.
There you go. There's a couple.
Orton is now...
I'm impressed.
Orton is now back up to Tony Romo in Dallas. And Castle, there's questions swirling around him whether he is that quarterback that they paid to get from the Patriots or not.
Right. I'm just saying it. And he's kind of farving it, flip-flopping. He say 1 week he'll say, I'm not holding out. Another week, I'm going to hold out. So we don't really know what's going on with this guy, but Dwayne Bowe should probably hold out because he needs a better paycheck. And bottom line, people, you got to pay the good ones.
And that's another situation where I think he wants to be there, so that's something that they're going to work out.
Yeah, I agree.
But that is all that we have today for you, ladies and gentlemen. So until next time, Aaron, anything you want to add?
Make sure you like, dislike, we don't care. Just make sure you're, leaving feedback as well. And subscribe. Whether you like it or not, we don't care. Subscribe.
Yep, subscribe, share, and show you care. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, JD and Ferg, out.